This is the top 100 setup for the current rotation of Hall of Trials. It's just Ken, Yufine, Hazel, plus Birgitta. Birgitta, the replacement, is kind of Ahmed, but Ahmed CR pushes the entire team. So it makes things a little bit harder because you make everybody else get turns. Yufine, her replacements, it's going to be lower damage, but with this specific setup, because we need 2 warriors, you kind of need Yufine here for the top 100 setup. But for just a general thing, like Coward, Cecilia, Fairy Tail, Tenebria are the easier ones to work with. Also Tempest Thurin, but her CR push is annoying. There's also Hellion Lua, Angel of Light Angelica, and Perfumer Biblis. Hazel, any healer works really, like Acades is the easier replacement, but because Hazel gives greater attack buff, well, Birgitta already gives greater attack buff. Hazel gives attack from her skill tree to fire units. And then Ken's just the highest resonant hero. The alternatives, you just go down the list, and it's kind of scuffed, but whatever. So let's take a look at their stats. For Ken, you build him full damage. We have him 330 crit damage exactly because crit damage buff gives you 70. So with crit damage buff, he's 400 crit damage at the cap, including the imprint circuit. If you haven't filled out your imprint circuit, you want to go straight left, pick this up to increase the crit damage cap up to 400, and then just fill out some attack and HP nodes. And then let's get back to Ken. You also do prioritize attack over HP because his attack scalings are really, really good, and you end up getting injured anyways. So just give him as much attack, crit chance, and 330 crit damage. His speed shouldn't matter too much, but I do have him at 110. His EE also doesn't matter, none of them do anything. And then we have him with Cruel Mischief for the attack bonus. You're going to want to put him in Grace of Growth probably, because you want his S3 maxed, and you don't really use his S3 normally, so I would put him in Grace of Growth. We have 2 slots now anyways. Next, let's take a look at Birgitta. So, one thing is her imprint doesn't matter, because Ken has to be in the front slot, so you don't need to worry about her imprint at all. You do want her EE, so that she gives greater attack buff when using S2. And we're going to be using Fan of Light and Darkness, because she S2, S3s, and she'll proc this over and over. Plus there's the skill cooldown reduction, so you can spam proc your Fan of Light and Darkness. You don't have to worry about the limit break that much, because since it's a 2-turn crit damage buff, you're going to have 2 chances to proc it before your crit damage buff expires. If you're only plus 15, you'd have a 75% chance to proc the crit damage boost, and the chance of proccing at least 1 crit damage boost in 2 tries is about 93.75%. So odds are you'll be able to land it. Mine's 95% chance, so I've got a 99.75% chance to proc my crit damage buff and keep it active. The CR push does, like, it scales, but you're pushing Ken to 100% every time, so it's not going to change anything even if you're not maxed. For her stats, I have her 279 speed. I would try to match the speed, and then give her a little bit of bulk. You don't need too much. Prioritize defense over HP, I would say. And then you do need to make sure that her S3 has the -1 turn, otherwise it's not going to come up in time. And then probably you want to max her S2 as well. Yufine, useful attack team imprint. She's our AoE silence. For her EE, you're going to want to pick up the silence one as well. And also make sure you Mola her S2 so you hit 100% silence chance. We give her Warhorn for the attack boost to everybody. And one really important thing with her is her bulk, because we kill off Yufine at the end of the run. I've got about 900 defense and almost 1100 HP. This is really, really precise just because of the way damage works in the fight. So you might have to try different, like slightly different HP and defense levels. Just here's what I have on her. I have 1 defense roll, 7%, 15% HP here, and 8% HP on the sword. So 7% defense, 23% HP, somewhere around 900, 11,000 is what you're aiming for. And then besides that, your spare stats might as well just give her damage. It doesn't matter too much. Her S3 is only doing like 250 to 300k depending on your gear. And lastly is Hazel. Remember that Hazel's healing skill is on her attack, so we're going to give her some attack, a little bit of defense. Her speed, I have her at 128, and I am using a plus 30 Queen's Whistle. If you don't have this maxed, your CR push is going to change a little bit. Her speeds don't matter too much. I would make her a little bit faster if you don't have Queen's Whistle, just because there's like some points where you do want her to heal before DDR uses its S2 and resets your cooldowns. But just a little bit more speed if you don't have Queen's Whistle, or if you don't have Queen's Whistle maxed. If you don't have Queen's Whistle at all, what you can do is give Hazel Warhorn instead. And then for Yufine, in the next balance patch, Sword of Autumn Eclipse is getting buffed. So you can give Yufine Sword of Autumn Eclipse, which is down here somewhere. I think mine's plus 21. This thing is getting buffed, so the attack's going to be going from 5 to 10%. At plus 15, you'll have 7.5% attack. So this is going to be your best in slot sword. If you don't have Queen's Whistle, you can move Warhorn to Hazel and then give Yufine this. It's of course going to change your CR positioning a bit, so you might need to speed up Yufine a tiny bit. Just don't make her too fast. That's it for the stats and everything, and now let's take a look at the run.
자욱한 죽음의 연구가 마음에 들길.
You shouldn't have to worry too much about CR RNG, but here is what I'm working with for this one. At the very start, I'm gonna S2 Ken. We're just gonna S1 DDR. And then for anybody not familiar with the fight, your HP is going to get very, very low during the fight. It's not a huge deal, because a lot of the damage is coming from this thing here. It's additional damage proportional to your current HP, so most of this damage you're taking is kind of fake. So you don't have to worry too much about it. And then you're going to want to S3 on Yufine's turn. This is just because of the CR push that she gets. When the enemy is debuffed, you don't want any chance of her getting extra CR push. And sometimes you will land, especially if your Ken has like any stray effectiveness, you might land the attack down and she'll CR push, but it's fine because she hits 100% on that turn no matter what. And then here on this turn, we're gonna use S3 for healing. This is the turn where I mentioned you want Hazel to take her turn. We're gonna push Ken again. It doesn't really matter if you S1 or S3 here. So we'll S1. And then during the break phase, all you're going to do is S2 Ken. And then S3 DDR. You just keep on doing that over and over again. So now we'll S3. They don't actually show it, but his F-res drops to 0 in the break phase, so we're guaranteed to land the attack down. That's going to cause Yufine to push up. No real way around this. Then just S2 with Ken whenever your S3 is not up. And we'll S3 with Yufine, so we stop pushing, and also because it's the highest damage. Hazel will use S2 if it's up, S3 if not. Also, I'm pretty sure Birgitta's S2 is random targeting, so you do have to actually click on Ken, which is kind of annoying.
친절히 상대해줄게.
And I guess you don't really have to worry about it in this setup because it's tuned properly, but in general, you need to make sure that nobody goes in between Birgitta and Ken. Birgitta pushes like him to like completely, so it doesn't matter. So now here, we're going to just use this. Ken already has greater attack buff, so we might as well give it to Hazel.
친절히 상대해줄게. 알려준 틀 잊지 마, 고객님. 즐거운 시간이 되어보자고. 아는 게 많을수록 무서워지는 거겠지.
한판 가볼까? 어디 해보시지.
And Birgitta cuts here. It's 97%. There's no RNG involved here. Because earlier in the break phase, when DDR was debuffed and Yufine S3 was up, she did push to 100%. So Birgitta, Ken, and Yufine are all synced together.
행동거지를 조심하렴. 혼나기 전에 말이야.
아무나 덤벼.
S3, and that's the end of the first break phase.
단계 돌파.
고통은 없을 거야. 효과는 내가 보증하거든.
친절히
The second main phase is a lot simpler. You kind of just spam your S1s.
주실래요?
And then later, you'll notice Birgitta gets kind of low, and we just heal her with Hazel.
즐거운 시간이 되어보자고. 친절히 상대해줄게. 함께해 주실 거죠?
So we're gonna heal up here.
알죠. 오늘의 고객은 너야.
한판 가볼까?
환자가 왔고
진상 손님은 사절이라. 어쩌지?
And then here, this turn, we're going to heal ourselves. And then we're going to SP with Yufine. This is the kill off here. We're going to set it up so that she dies to the ads. We do a little AoE. She just barely dies. You see, it was only doing like 100 damage. So it's really, really close. Ken, we can just cleanse here. It's no problem.
도와줄게.
We kill off Yufine because... So your Warhorn stops applying after she dies. So you lose out on the 10% attack. But because Yufine's S3 like got its cooldown reset, she has to S3 no matter what. Because of the CR push that she gets from it, you kill her off. That way you don't have to deal with her taking any turns, and you get 8 hits in the second phase instead of 7.
알려준 틀 잊지 마, 고객님.
And then from here, with Yufine gone, we can just keep on doing this over and over again.
아는 게 많을수록 무서워지는 거겠지.
내 주먹 맛을 보여주지. 다 들려주마.
진상 손님은 사절이라. 성실성 도와줄게. 오늘의 고객은 너야. 겁없이 가본다.
And yeah, honestly, that's pretty much it. We're just gonna keep on doing this.
가볼까?
Hazel, when she takes her turn, you just use your heals, S2 first, then S3.
단계 돌파.
And that's pretty much the rotation. This is the first time in a while, I think all the way since the last time we had this was the Violet rotation, which was like the second rotation after they revamped it.
사절이라.
It wasn't based on the new banner unit, and we have a random unit instead. I personally prefer it being on the banner unit because it's harder to get imprints for old units compared to new units if you don't have them already. And if you don't have the unit itself, I think it's harder to get the unit compared to the, or harder to get an old unit compared to a new unit.
오늘의 고객은 너야.
But we'll see if they continue doing this, or if Estelle was just like a one-off.
치는 거겠지.
아무나 덤벼.
There's also the very low chance that they actually just completely revamp this fight.
내 주먹을
and make it based on a stealth and X rotation, which I actually would be down for. I didn't think about it, but if they make it so that it's like one random unit and then one straight up unit, I'd be okay with that. But we'll see what happens.
큰 코 다치게 돼 있어.
내 주먹 맛을 보여주지. 어디 이해보시지.
도와주실래요? 알죠.
진상 손님은 사절이라. 이 정도면 충분하지? 즐거운 시간이 되어보자고. 행동 거주를 조심하렴. 혼나기 전에 말이야.
한판 더볼까? 궁극고리. 단계 돌파. 치다.
오늘의 고객은 너야? 알려준 틀이 있지마. 고객님, 진상 손님은 사절이라. 아는 게 많을수록 무서워지는 법이지.
아무나 덤벼. 다 들려주마.
모든 게 끝났을 때 무슨 관계는 날 기다릴까?